Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Andre, and we got some beautiful eye of the rounds here. We are not making beef jerky, but we're going to turn these into a dry cured beautiful product. It's something I've been playing with. I've done it before. They turn out fantastic, but they need a long time to do this. So this video is going to take quite a long time to actually shoot, because you just have to let nature do its thing, and I'll get into that. But let's get these trimmed up. What we're going to do, we're going to trim these totally down, want all the fat off, silver skin. We're going to take all that off, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. But dry curing, it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years because it's a fantastic way to preserve meat without having proper refrigeration. Generally, this was something started in the late fall, let's say in Europe and other parts of the world where it was already colder out, which led to making this. You can't do it in the summertime. Now you can with proper coolers and refrigeration, things like that. You can do it all year round. But back in the day, they didn't have that option. And like always, I'm keeping all the fat because I'm going to make more tallow when I have enough saved up. And all the beef trim, I got lots of uses for that. Okay, got them both done to where I want. All the silver skin's off, all the fat's off. They look beautiful. But what I'm going to do, because the bigger the piece is, the longer it would take for the salt and cure to go all the way through. And I've done this before. So what I'm going to do is actually just cut these in half. So I have smaller pieces. They're less thick. This will actually help with the curing, I find, because they're not as big. So the curing process doesn't take as long. They will still take about 2 to 3 weeks, but that's better than longer. The grain is going lengthways, but with this, once it's done, we will slice it against the grain like you normally would any other cold cut or dry cured product. Now to the salting part. I just want to stress, at this point on, you want to be very accurate with everything. So we're going to weigh each piece individually because we want to know the starting weight once it's cured, and then further along when it's losing weight, we want to know percentage wise how much it's lost, because we want to get down to like that magic number, which I'll get into. But that's, you have to be accurate, know what each piece weighed initially. That way you can figure out exactly how much weight it's lost, and if you're doing it right. Tara, that we are at 780 grams. Okay. That way too, I know I can figure out the salt exactly per this. I'll have all that below. Put this on, Tara that. Now I'm just going to figure out the salt and get to salting that. Okay, got that weighed out. And I am mixing salt with cure and regular salt because you should only use so much of this. They recommend only using up to 2%. So I'm actually using 3% salt. So I'm using 2% this and 1% regular sea salt. So now, mix this together. And make sure you get it on all sides. So that, and like always, I love using vacuum bags because that way it really pulls those pores open and gets that salt and cure deep in there faster. So we're going to get you in here. But since we've weighed all this, we're going to get all that salt at least into the bag so it has a chance to do what it's supposed to do. Okay, there we go. We got package 1. And one other thing you should do, get your marker. I'm going to write on piece 1 that we know exactly which one it is, piece 1. And I'm going to write today's date. Today's date is October 12th. And I'm going to write actually the weight on there in case I lose that for some reason. So 780 grams, that's start. That way all that information's on there. And let's say they get mixed around, at least then you know which is which. Just a good way to do it. So I'm going to finish off these and then get right back to you. The hard part is done. We've got them all weighed, salted, vacuum packed here. I've wrote on each one, piece 1, 2, 3, 4, the starting weight and the starting date, today's date. That way we can keep control over all this. You really need to be diligent and be pretty accurate with this, just doing it this way. But anyways, they look fantastic and they're just going to go sit in the fridge for a couple weeks now. And we're just going to do check-ins every so often, and then every major point will continue this video. We're back after 1 week just for a quick check-in. These guys are looking fantastic. The salt is doing its thing. It's got a nice color. It's firming up nicely. It's got a little bit of liquid that's already been pulled out of the meat, which is good. So overall, I'm happy. And you'll see me next time when we're gonna wrap these up. They are looking fantastic. They're all nice and firm, so they've really cured. It is officially day 15 today for these. So what we're going to do is take them out, rinse them off real quick, dry them off. And now at this point, if you had a dry ager, or some people take an old fridge and modify it that they can control the humidity and temperature, you would just basically either put it on a rack or hang it and leave it in there to dry out. I do not have that. I have something that I've used before, and they are the dry aging bags. Basically, if you're going to dry age a whole strip loin or whatever to get it that dry aged, this bag will do that. You can just vacuum pack it and throw it in the fridge. This allows moisture to leave but not come in. I've used these before and they work fantastic. And that's what we're going to do today. I am not sponsored, but there are many brands, but this brand I've used and it works great. We are going to keep the bag because I'm going to write the start weight on the new bags. I have it written down anyways, but it's nice that it's on there so that we can keep track of it. So we're going to open it up. Oh yeah, it's nice and firm. That there. You want to smell it. Smells good. There's no off smell. You would really know if there was, but no, we're doing good, and I can't wait. Yes, I know I don't normally pat my meat off and dry it off like this, but this is special. So we're gonna just get off any extra moisture, make sure they're nice and dry. Okay, here we go. So essentially it looks like a normal vacuum bag, but the plastic is very advanced. So what we're gonna do, get it in here. Just move this for a sec. Now they give you these because the small vacuum packaging machines do not like bags which are smooth. We're going to put this right over where the sealing bar is. Okay, there we go. It's nicely vacuum packed. That looks fantastic. Now I'm going to do the others, but now after we're done this, they're going back in the fridge, and I'm going to weigh them every couple weeks just to keep track of where we're going. We're trying to lose, like, I'm going to double check this, but we're going to try and lose around 35, 40, maybe 45% of the weight, which is water, which is what makes this a dry cured product, and that will give us a very, very long shelf life on this. And yeah, let's just have fun with this, and I'm gonna finish these off and then get them in the fridge. Okay, we're done. They look fantastic. Got the dates and weights all written on. I just wanted to make a point that you need to be careful how you do this, and because if I were to just take these right now, not in these special bags, and throw them in the fridge is too cold and not humid enough. You would develop the outside would dry out way too fast and would actually seal up, and that moisture from the middle wouldn't have time or be able to escape. That's why it's very important that I use these bags. If I did have a dry ager, I could do it that way, and you can really control the temperature and the humidity exactly the way you want and do it that way to not form this. But I don't have that, and in a fridge, like I said, it's too cold and it would form that hard crust. If you've ever seen dry cured product which has like a dark ring, that might have been dried too fast. Anyways, my 2 cents. But yeah, you've got to make sure this, because at this stage it's very critical. You could lose them, but you don't want to. You've gone through all this work, and it's still going to take probably a month and a half this way to get where we want. Maybe 2 months, I don't know. We'll have to play that by ear. And I'll be checking in. I'll do the first weigh-in in a couple weeks just to see where we're at and how we're going. Welcome back. We are at 2 weeks since we've bagged these up. They're looking fantastic, and this is the first official weigh-in. And one thing when you're doing this, you've got to be accurate. You got to keep notes, because you're never going to remember. If you try to remember, you're going to screw it up. Always keep notes. I've made my chart here so that I can keep all the weights properly. And let's just dive in and get them weighed. I've also put the target weight at the bottom so that I know where my target is. I'm coming along nicely. This has lost a lot of weight, which is good. They look much drier. They feel much drier. They're not as spongy as like a fresh piece of meat is. So I know they're coming along great, and the weights are proving that. They've all come down very nicely. They're all doing what they're supposed to, and see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Just over a week has gone by, and it's time to weigh these beautiful pieces of meat again. So let's just get to it. Wow, that's awesome. Those 3 are done. They've actually gone a little bit below what I wanted. That's perfect. This one has a little bit longer to go, That's fine. It was a little bit thicker, and that's normal. So I'm just going to put that one back in the fridge for now. But we are going to cut one of these open and show you what we actually come up with. So I've just picked one randomly. I'm going to just open her up. Smells good. Looks good. Now at this point, if it was hanging in your special fridge, which is temperature control and humidity controlled, there might be actually some mold on here. That's not anything that we get worried about. That's normal. All you would do is just wash it off, dry it off, and then vacuum pack it just to keep it at that same place. I'm just gonna dive in. Woo! That looks, I know. Hopefully you can see that. That looks fantastic. Smells so good. What I'm gonna do, I've got an older, big commercial slicer downstairs. I'm not bringing it up. I'm gonna go slice a few slices and then show you what it looks like and taste test it. I've just laid some out here, sliced it nice and paper thin. Smells so good. If you like prosciutto, this is like the beef equivalent. Not the same piece, but the same basic process. Not salty, not too salty at all. That's perfect. Looks fantastic. It's starting to get a little bit of a dark rim on the outside. But you know what? It's lost more water weight than I needed to, so it's at a really good point right now. So all I'm going to do now, take these two and these pieces and then put them in vacuum bags, vacuum them, and throw them in the fridge. They are good for months and months and months, so I can take this out and slice it whenever I want and eat it. I love it. It's fantastic. This isn't complicated, but it needs a little bit of love, patience, and time, and you come up with this beautiful product. You know, they've been doing this with meat for hundreds of years. That way you could keep it and keep it without refrigeration, because they didn't have that way back when. And you get a fantastic product. And you want to slice it thin because it's super tender. If you were to slice this thicker, it's going to be very tough and it's not pleasant to eat. But when you slice it really, really thin, it's a joy. Well, thanks for coming on the journey with me on making your own dry cured beef. Like I said, anybody can do this. If you have questions, leave them below. I will be happy to answer them. And yeah, now I have some beautiful beef that I can eat all winter. And guys, thanks for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, leave me some more comments. I always love reading them, and I will get back to you. And like always, happy eating.